Oi Brasil, hoje estou aqui com uma collab super especial com o Thomas Olde Heuvelt. So now I prepared a horror movie tag challenge thing.
Oh, exciting.
So you can give some tips of your favorite more horror stuff for everyone.
Let's do that.
What was the first horror movie that you remember watching?
Roald Dahl's The Witches. Have you read the book?
No.
The Witches, you know Roald Dahl, the British children's book author? He's amazing, by the way. The Witches is a story about this kid who ends up in this ballroom where witches hold a meeting and they're plotting how to destroy all children in the world. And these witches are horrible. They have claws, so they wear gloves, and they're bald, so they wear wigs. And this Grand High Witch has this mask on her face. And in the movie, Angelica Huston, she plays the Grand High Witch. And I remember that scene because I was 7 years old. This was pre-CGI. And then I was in cinema watching this woman takes off her ripping it off, and his hideous face comes underneath. And I was scared of basically any woman for like half a year. I screamed my mom away for ages. It turned winter and I was on the streets and people were wearing gloves and I was like, oh my god, they're witches. That kind of traumatized me.
Your favorite villain or monster?
I very much like Annie Wilkes from Misery.
Oh yes!
She's this psychotic fan of a best-selling author.
Kathy Bates.
Kathy Bates played her, of course, yeah. And also in the book, she's even more crazy and darker than in the movie. Because she's so human. And it's so easy to imagine that someone could snap.
She doesn't start like a villain.
No.
She's just like, oh, I like you.
No, yeah.
And then...
Yeah. And I've had a few experiences with, like...
with fans?
Yeah. But, you know...
Please tell me.
Well, okay, I got one story. There was this one woman or girl. Her name was Patricia. I didn't know what she looked like because she wasn't on social media. And she used to email me. And usually when the fan emails, I reply and then you get maybe one reply back and then it ends. But she kept emailing me and kept emailing me like 3 times a week. And the emails got longer and longer and longer.
And personal?
And they got darker and darker and darker. Like at some point I was like the only reason she was still alive and you know, she was totally in love and then she was cutting herself and all that stuff. And it was really dark. And I never replied because I mean when it gets to that level, I mean, any attention you give feeds the obsession. So she came to the signing. It was a long line of people, and I always ask people's names because I want to dedicate it to these people. I knew her last name, so when this girl was standing, she was standing like a bit like this, and I asked, "What's your name?" And she said Patricia, and then she said her last name. And I was like, "Oh fuck, that's her!" You know?
What did you do?
Well, I didn't look at her. I signed the book, gave it to her, and said next. And that completely killed her obsession for me. Because I heard nothing anymore from her. Except a friend of mine had taken photographs that day. I don't know, have you seen The Grudge?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. You know, this lady keeps appearing in photographs, remember?
Uh-huh.
That's exactly what happened. We put
like the camera...
in the corner. She's in every corner of every picture she was standing there like that. That was really frightening.
Was that your inspiration?
That was my... Well, not for X, but...
Your favorite horror genre? Because you have like witches, found footage, slasher.
I like the more psychological, subtle horror stories that really crawl into your skin and makes you scared from within. Whether that's with monsters or witches or vampires or whatever, it doesn't really matter to me. I like to be slowly being sucked in and more scared and scared. I like possession stories a lot. I'm writing a new novel, almost finished by the way, about a possession, but not a normal possession, because what I don't like about possession stories is that there's always a religious counterpart. There's
like
always...
The Exorcist.
Yeah. I mean, it worked in X, it was wonderful, but it's been done over and over again, of course. And there's always a priest, there's an exorcising, there's always a demon or a devil. I'm a mountain climber. I thought, wouldn't it be really cool if you have a mountaineer who has a horrible accident in the mountains, comes down, barely survives, heavily wounded, and he's changed because he's taken something down with him. He's possessed by the soul of the mountain itself, and he's this force of nature raging inside of him.
Cool. Do you have a favorite franchise, horror franchise?
Well, I usually like the first part, or then the first and the second part, and then they slowly go downhill. What would be my favorite? I really like Paranormal Activity. But then, you know, after part 2 or so, it got pretty bad. Can you name a few?
I like Saw.
Yeah.
I love that stuff. I mean, every movie is just the same, and I like it.
It's torture porn, right?
Yes, kind of. A movie that you liked, but it was really scary for you and you wouldn't watch it again. You said Dutch people don't get scared.
Not in real life. Movies do scare us. But we don't have a culture of horror by us. We don't have any horror writers except myself, for instance. I really was disturbed by Antichrist. Did you see that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's so dark, and I don't want to watch it again because it's just even the first scene. It lasts for 10 minutes or so. It's pure black and white. It's pure art, but it's so disturbing and so
Lars von
dark.
Trier is crazy.
Yeah.
I think he's not normal.
No, he is not.
Yes.
But I would love for him to adapt one of my stories one day.
Yeah, cool. That would be nice.
Be a piece of art, yeah.
A movie that everybody liked, but you didn't.
Ooh, interesting. There's quite a few horror movies that I hate, actually. I don't really like Psycho, for instance.
Psycho is a good one because everybody
It
adores
just didn't work
it.
for me. Yeah.
Why?
It also feels dated. I mean, I like
Yeah.
when movies turn older, they kind of grow old.
So your favorite horror movie of all times?
There are two. Do I have to name one, or can I name both?
Two.
First would be The Ring, the American edition. Actually, a lot of people like the Japanese version better. I saw the American version in cinema when I was, I guess, 17 or 18. So I got home and I was totally freaked because I didn't expect that last scene where the girl with the long hair comes. I thought it ended the movie, and then she suddenly crawls out of that TV and then blah, goes at you, And I came home in the dark, and I didn't want to wake up my mom, so I left off the lights, groping my way up the stairs, feeling totally freaked out. I made it to my bedroom, and the light switch didn't work, and so I had to grope even further in the dark to my bed, and I found the remote for my TV, and I put the TV on. There was only snow on the screen because the cable was out, and I freaked out. I really freaked out, and I had nightmares for like 4 or 4 days. And what I liked as well a lot was the Blair Witch Project.
I have a thing for witches.
Yeah, but what I like about that movie is that you never ever get to see the witch.
Yes.
And it's like the total opposite of my book, where she's right there from page 1. You don't even know if there is a witch in the Blair Witch Project, and still they made it creepy as hell, just by the pure suggestion of that evil force in the forest.
And I think it's very new also that it's a found footage movie, because
was the
at
first
that
one, or one of the first ones.
At that time we didn't have that, and then there was like a whole genre made out of it.
Yeah.
And the last one you watched and you really liked?
Well, I really enjoyed Annabelle Creation. That was really good, and it was kind of funny because I was emailing with Gary Doubleman, the writer, and he was like, well, I hope you like it, but he was a bit like insecure because it's like the perfect recipe to fail as a horror movie, because it has a creepy doll, a haunted house, little scary kids, all the things we've seen over and over again. But I loved it. It was really awesome, and somehow he made it work, this recipe.
Did you like it, Pennywise?
Yes, I loved it. An awesome adaptation. I love the idea that it has this real Stephen King feel, because it's not only a horror movie, but it's also a coming-of-age story. It's much more than just the creepy stuff, and that's what I liked about it. I really look forward to the second part.
I think that's it.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much. Have fun in Brazil.
Oh, by the way, one thing I should refer you to is a Netflix series called Dark. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a whole video explaining Dark in
awesome.
chronological order.
Good. Yeah, it's a German series. I didn't know if it was on Netflix.
No, it was a hit here in Brazil.
Awesome.
Everybody loved it.
It deserves to be a hit because it's really dark.
Yes. So thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you guys read this book because it is amazing, and the ending is just like it will crush your heart. And
sorry about that.
And you will have nightmares forever.
I hope you do. If you do, let me know. I'd love to hear about your nightmares on Instagram or Facebook.
Yeah, I'll leave his social media here on the description box. And thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you for watching.